Chloe, a really impressive win against Portugal. How good was it to score at Wembley?
Yeah, really good. The fans are incredible. It's always lovely to play at Wembley, and the girls were unbelievable. Aggie with a hat-trick, she's on fire.
It's a far cry from where you were in January, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I'm enjoying my football. I'm loving being on the pitch and excited for what's to come as well.
You've had to overcome adversity since leaving Manchester City. How difficult was that period?
Yeah, really difficult, but we're on the other side of it now. Being on the football pitch where we all love and enjoying playing and having the success of the Champions League was incredible, so I'm hoping for more success.
You said you're in a dark place and nearly took a break from football. Just explain.
I think sometimes you have to look at it from a human aspect and mentally in a dark place, but I think it's just round the corner was a high of going to Arsenal, enjoying my football and loving being on the pitch and learning so much from Renee, so I think that was incredible.
Sarina left you out of the February camp initially as she said you hadn't played enough to be selected. Was that fair?
Yeah, of course. You never take for granted playing for your country. It's not a given. You have to work and you have to do so much to get there, and to stay there is really hard as well. So I knew that I needed to go away and get minutes, and I tried my best to do that and get in the move to Arsenal, and I knew I had to go into Arsenal and work really hard for my shirt, and I think I did just that. And when I was on the pitch enjoying my football and showing what I was capable of, and of course then coming back into camp showing what I was capable of as well, but being part of this special team, it's not a given, and playing for your country, you have to work hard to do so.
So how did you take the news? Was it a tough conversation with Sarina?
I think it's a tough conversation, but also an understanding one. Sarina's a great manager who has such success for England as well, so I think for me it was understanding of where she was coming from, and being able to then go and work hard and to try my best to get back into that team.
How has the move to Arsenal rejuvenated your season?
Yeah, incredibly so. I think I've found love for football again, and being on the pitch is my happy place, and trying to learn so much.
What was it about Arsenal that helped you fall in love with football again?
As soon as I stepped foot into the club, I found a smile on my face straight away. The club is such a classy place, and the people that surround you within that environment are amazing people. So I think that was definitely one, and learning is so important to me, and I felt like straight away I was learning again. I felt in a good place, and every day was just a step in the right direction of getting my smile back.
What's the biggest thing you learnt since moving to Arsenal then?
Speaking up for what you think is right, and never accepting someone else writing your script.
That loan move culminated in you winning the Champions League with Arsenal. How special was that night in Lisbon?
Oh, incredible night in Lisbon, in front of our fans, with our families, in the stadium as well, and to do it for a club that I'd played my youth football at, and a club that gave me an opportunity to get that smile back on my face was incredible, and it was a special night. Barcelona were an incredible team, and we knew that we had to dig deep to get that win.
You've had real highs and real lows over the last year, so how do you look back on the last 12 months?
Grateful for the people that surround you and get you through dark times, but also you learn so much about yourself in those moments, but also looking back and being able to show that a Champions League medal on the back end of that journey, so I think it's incredible. Dark times don't last, but it's the people that get you through those.
What have you learnt about yourself then over these last 12 months?
Learn about myself, probably tougher than my ACL injury, to be honest, and just being able to control everything that I can is really important, and not looking too far ahead, but also realising how strong you can be.
Where are you going to be playing your football next season?
For me, those conversations happen in the background. I don't get involved too much. My focus now is with England and on what I can do here, and my focus before here was what I can do in the Champions League final. I don't like being swayed in other directions. My focus is solely on football right now.
Where do you want to be playing your football next season?
Wherever makes me happy.
Would you like to stay in England or go abroad?
Yeah, Arsenal was a great place for me. I found happiness for football again, and that was amazing. But for me, I just want to focus on now what's in front of me, and that's Spain tomorrow.
On to England. It's very competitive within that forward line. So is the Euros coming at a perfect time for you personally, you know, hitting form at just the right time?
Yeah, I think it's great that there's such competition in forward positions. I think we can all push each other every day to be better, especially in this environment on camp. And Aggie going and scoring a hat-trick at Wembley, you celebrate those people in those positions in high areas, doing a great job, and it's great to have that competition to push one another to be better. And going into a tournament, you want everyone on fire.
You're such an icon in the England shirt, scoring the winning goal at the Euros. What did that moment do for your career?
Incredible moment. The girls were incredible in 2022. It's a special memory that we'll always have, and to score against Germany at Wembley was incredible and a special memory for me, my family. I'm just very grateful for the opportunity that I get to represent England and to be surrounded by such amazing women.
What did winning the Euros do for women's football in England?
I think we've pushed grassroots football so much as well, and that's great, seeing so many girls inspired by us winning that. But I think not just winning, but showing up and getting the stadiums full, that's incredible, and hopefully we can inspire many more generations to come.
The Euros are just around the corner. What would constitute success for this England team?
I think this is a fresh England team, a new fresh England team. We've got so many young faces, a lot of players that will be first tournaments as well, so the enjoyment for those players going into their first tournament. Of course, we're England, so it comes with pressure, and everyone going into that tournament, they want to go and be successful. So just like anyone else, we want success, but we know it's going to be tough, and hopefully we can make special memories together.
How has Sarina helped you over these last 12 months? Has she provided much support?
Yeah, she's a great manager. I've enjoyed working with Sarina, learning from Sarina, learning from Ian, her assistant. They're unbelievable, and the success they've had for England is great as well. So I think every day in training, trying to learn from such a great manager.
What makes Sarina such a great manager?
I think she's very open to have conversations, especially throughout times where I wasn't playing. And it's great to have a manager where you can have those conversations, and also being able to learn from her experiences, not just for England but for the Netherlands as well. A manager with such success.
What was it like winning the Euros with Sarina?
Yeah, incredible. I remember watching clips after and seeing myself with her. I think any manager that has represented England knows how hard that job is and the pressure that comes with it, but she's done such an incredible job, and it's great to play under.
She told us in the press conference that it's just great to see you smiling again. I mean, how nice is that to hear that you've got the support from the England manager and she just wants you, you know, playing football and being happy?
Yeah, I think that's when I'm at my best, is when I've got a smile on my face, so it's great to hear, and I just want to try and keep that smile and keep improving. I've got so much to learn, so I'm hungry to do so.
Leah, we're here in Switzerland. How excited are you to play in another Euros for England?
Really excited. I think as you get older, things mean different than maybe previously. So it's not just football, it's like a bit more of a journey, and it's only my third tournament, so I'm still very excited when I get here. It's not like I've done this 1,000 times. One
word you would use to sum up winning the Euros?
A fairy tale.
How significant was that moment for women's football in this country?
I think the most significant, really. I'd say the most significant since the ban was lifted, and I feel like the country was ready for it. I'm proud of what we did as a country and as a group of players off the back of it.
From the proudest day of your life to tearing your ACL 9 months later, that must have been really difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I'd had a tough year, and that was sort of the end of that journey, I suppose, in terms of doing my ACL. You just see everything just disappear that you look forward to. You never want to look too far ahead as a footballer because things can change. You can play, you can not play, injuries, etc. But in the moment, yeah, I knew exactly what it meant, and it just all sort of hit me at once. So not the nicest thing in the world, but I believe everything happens for a reason. So I just kind of took it on the chin in that sense and kept it moving.
What got you through those dark moments?
The thought of playing for England was, my top. I'd just left a camp where we won the Finalissima, and I'd had all these really lovely moments in an England shirt. To me, it was more, you need to get back on the train before it sort of really start speeding up without you, because women's football has changed so much. I think tactically, technically, you know, like the standard of the game, the levels are just rising so quickly year on year because of the investment and the younger generations coming through that have played maybe a lot more football than we did when we were younger. And I just didn't want to be away for too long to miss out or to be too far behind. So that was my main driver. But those moments, of course I let myself think about them, because that's what I wanted to get back to.
The injury ruled you out of the World Cup in Australia, but you still went out there to support the team.
Yeah.
What does that say about your commitment and leadership with this England side?
You know, my brother was living out there, so it was lovely to have the opportunity to go and see him and spend time with him. But I remember the night before the final, I was in Perth, the final was in Sydney. My mum basically said that to me: I haven't raised you to not go and watch your country. You know, before you even get into the rest of it, if you're in the same country, you have the opportunity to go and watch your country in a World Cup final. Did I not raise you to do that? And I thought, yeah, you did. And also it was, you know, the girls in this team, and obviously I have my best friends, but they're some of the most important people in my life, and for them it's the biggest day of their life. So I suppose to be present and to be a leader, I have to know what people feel, what, you know, like look at them in those moments and really see who they are and the environment, etc. So I'm glad I went. It was very much I'm here as a fan, I'm here to support, but I'm very glad I was there and just connected in a way to that.
I'm sure they loved having you there.
I was just trying to stay out the way and hide with Jill, who's the worst person in the world to sit next to at a football game.
I was with Jill, so
yeah.
I saw that a lot.
Yeah.
Just going back to more recently, you scored on your 50th cap against South Africa, and judging by your celebration, that meant a lot to you.
Yeah, because you don't know when those moments are going to come, and I hadn't scored since coming back from my ACL, and it's a ridiculous statement, you know, like people can go for years without scoring for different reasons, but it was kind of the one thing that was lingering. You know, I'd made a return of this and I'd come back for England and I was playing for Arsenal, but to get that moment, I really do love playing for my country, and I want to be helping in any way I can. So yeah, it was a big moment, and you know, with the girls as well, I think they knew how much that meant to me.
How much did it mean winning the Champions League with Arsenal, a club that you've been with since you were 9 years old?
Everything. I've said before, I feel ashamed at how quickly I used to answer the question, like trophy with England or trophy with Arsenal, because to win that Champions League was completed domestic football in terms of winning everything available, which is obviously an incredible thing to look back on. But the feeling that I had and being an Arsenal fan, that felt like a real me moment. You know, the Euros was almost like, what have we done, and the scale of it, whereas that was something to really enjoy. And I felt like I'd come back to a place where I recognised myself as a footballer, and you know, it didn't seem foreign to me anymore, which after doing your ACL is a real thing that you battle with.
If you were to tell that 9-year-old Arsenal mascot that she'd go on to win the Champions League,
Yeah.
What would she have said?
That's one thing I always dreamed, and I know I did. You know, like when my mum recalls conversations that I had with her about sort of stating things I wanted to do and I believe that I could do. To let her know that she would eventually achieve that, I think she'd be so happy, you know. And just for Arsenal, I was brought up to understand like your love for a football club, as many of us in grew up British are. She'd be very happy. I can think of some words that aren't appropriate. Yeah.
Where does winning the Champions League rank in your achievements then?
I think nothing will ever touch the Euros and winning the Euros with England. It's much more of a circumstantial, almost like fate. You know, you don't get to choose where you're born, what country you're from, your teammates, the generation that you're part of, and then for it to be a home Euros and everything together was just the best thing in the world. That is the closest by the smallest of margins. But the Champions League for me feels like more of an achievement in terms of that's because of my choices. You know, I've chosen to spend my career at Arsenal, to commit to the club, to give everything I could. Much like I do for my country, but I don't have a choice to go anywhere else. So I think it's high up there, but like on a different level.
How will being a Champions League winner benefit you in an England shirt now?
I think confidence-wise, to know that you can put in a performance like that on a stage like that, to know how it feels, you know, to know how much you have to suffer, but what's available on the other end. They're all very, very good things to kind of just lock away and call on when you need them. But I think that competitiveness and that hunger and, you win a trophy, you have a great party, and it's like then you're on to the next one, and this is the next one. So I'm fueled by it, I think.
Because you got the chance to do something even more special, arguably, winning back-to-back Euros.
I mean, yeah, this would be the hardest and most incredible achievement if we could do that. And again, that's like we've never been here before, so it's such an exciting time for us as players, because much like going into the Euros, I'd never played in a home tournament, loads of others hadn't either, and you have the opportunity to just go and do the craziest thing, and we did, and we know what that feels like. But now I think, like I say, everything's changed, but we've all grown so much as people and have so many more experiences available to us also to call on.
You're without experienced players, Mary Earps, Millie Bright, Frank Kirby. Does the captaincy weigh heavier on your shoulders as there's less leaders in the group now?
There's a natural hierarchy that comes in, especially in this country. We make a big deal out of the armband. It always has been. But within the team, it's not. It's everything's a shared responsibility. It's almost like I've said it before, but an extension of the job, and somebody has to do that. And nowadays I'm the only one that can talk to a ref and, stuff like that. That's obviously logistical, but in place of those girls that we don't have, somebody just steps up and somebody has to, and it's a completely different set of skills in terms of what that player offers and that player, but it hasn't changed much, which is a positive thing, I think.
So you're confident you can adapt without them?
Yeah. In terms of my role, that's what I mean. It's not been crazy. The players that have been here for a long time, you think I'm almost one of the least experienced of the experienced players, so I've never pretended to know or tried to dictate anything. But I know, you lose experienced players. Of course, it's difficult because there's just certain things that only those girls would know, and they've had the experience and others haven't. Much like myself, it's not like I'm even on their level. So yeah, it's obviously difficult losing them, but somebody just changes the dynamic and somebody else has to step up. It's a non-negotiable. You're in a team. Somebody needs to step up and fill that role now. There's
some brilliant young players, like you've spoken about, experiencing their first tournament with England. So how excited should England fans be?
We have so much talent available to us these days, and lots of different types of players as well, which I think we would always say was good to have in a team. So I think they should be so excited, and there's lots of unknowns. I'm intrigued. I don't know how certain people are going to play or what results are going to be like, or it's a new tournament, nothing's happened yet. So I'm excited to watch them and see them do well and see them sort of come into their own in that sense. So yeah, everyone should be excited.
And finally, as a team, you know how to win this competition. So confident you can do it again?
I think knowing how it's done is the best thing that you can ever have in your pocket, and knowing that you can draw on it whenever. I think confident, I don't know if I ever sort of go into that. It's more belief. I will always believe that we can. I know that we have the tools to. We take control of what we can, take care of what we can, and see what happens.
You've won the last 2 Euros, so would you describe yourself as a serial winner?
No, I think a serial winner wins a little bit more. I consider myself as a lucky person to be able to work with such ambitious people, players and staff, and with so much talent. And I hope we can show that again this summer.
How much did it mean winning the 2017 Euros in your home country?
Yeah, that was incredible. It's just, that's what I noticed here in England too. When you grow up as a little girl in the Netherlands, and there's no place for girls to play football, to women to play football. And then overall, I've lived through that whole history. And so many people have worked so hard to get to that stage. And then winning it with the team, which had a massive impact on society and on the women's game. That's just really incredible. Doing that in your own country was really, really special. But I felt similar things here in England. I could see it in the players and the staff and people crying, that I thought, yeah, this is what it means. This is what it means. And this is identity of women's football, identity of these women and men who have been working a lot in the women's game to then accomplish that is so special.
What was key to winning the Euros with England?
I think the team and the federation was really ready to win. There was so much hunger to win it, and everyone really, it's not just we wanted to win, no, we really wanted to win. And we wanted to do anything necessary to do so. And that was like, of course, it was quality, because without quality of players, you're not going to win it, because you're not going to win 6 games then. But the offers we wanted to bring, and that togetherness, the bonding of the team was so strong.
Do you feel that with this group now?
Yeah, we're building in that too. I think, of course, we started now going, like we're now in the stage that we're going almost into the tournaments. We think we're really far with our style of play, about the things we wanted to have done in development of the team and individual players and bringing that all together. I think we're getting really close. You can feel the energy. It's coming closer too, so everyone gets so energetic and excited about the tournament. So yeah, I feel we're in a very good place. I also feel like we have a good mixture in the team with players who have played a couple of some very many tournaments. About 7 players who are coming into this tournament, major tournament, for the first time. I think we have a very good balance of that, and I also think we have a balance in quality of players. So we have speed, we have people who are good defenders, but also players that super strengths, are more in possession and runs in behind or keeping the ball. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
What did winning the Euros do for women's football in this country?
So much. It changed society. It changed the view on the women's game, I think. That was already growing. I think things were set in place. So what I say also, like, there have been so many trailblazers that created that situation where we could win and then take next steps, give women's game a boost in schools, but also refereeing. There's so much more female referees, there's so much more coaches now. We still have a long way to go. There's so much more opportunities for girls to play in all areas. And those are huge steps. I think these steps have been taken, but we still have a lot more steps to take.
Like you said, there's been so much change since winning the Euros. Is it then important that you back it up this summer, especially going into the tournament as European champions?
Well, when we go out there, there's only one thing we really want, but you can't always control those things. And what we want to do, of course, show who we are, that we can play football really well, being the best bonded team, the best prepared team, working really hard, and hopefully show some fun too. That comes a lot with winning games. Yeah, it's going to be different Euros again. We have a different team. I'm happy with the team we have, and of course we go for it to come as far as possible, and hopefully that's till the end. And that's what we're working on every single day.
So does this feel like a very different England team to the last Euros?
I think there have been changes. There's some similarities, but always when you go into a tournament, there have been changes. That's a national team. There is always dynamics. There's always some transitions. So there's different connections because we have different characters in the team, different qualities in the team. What we're trying to do is bring it all together. Of course, it does feel different because also we're going to Switzerland now. The preparation is different than we had before the World Cup and before the last Euros, because then there was more time in between the end of the season and the start of the tournament. So things are different, but the approach, how we want to play, we adapted, of course, our style of play. We have to improve. You can't stand still, but the approach of how we want to collaborate with the players, with the staff, how we want to train, how, like, in principle we want to play, that hasn't changed that much, just some tweaks. I'm excited about this England squad because I think we have a balance between very experienced players who have played more tournaments, players who are coming in for the first time in a tournament. Of course, they can help each other. I also think we have many different qualities and super strengths in players that we want to bring together. So that means that, when you start, you can also change, and because of different strengths of players. So yeah, I'm happy with the team.
Does this squad show how much the team has evolved since the last Euros? In
personality, of course, it does say something, and that's what we're going to see in the next Euros. I think there's more teams that, of course, 2017, now it's 2025. Of course, there's transition because there's 8 years in between 17 or 22, of course, we're talking about. But if you look at the wider picture, teams are changing because, of course, younger players come in and some players keep going, some players retire, or some players don't get selected anymore. That's how it goes in this environment.
The standard of football in Europe is growing, as we know. How does that test your tactics as a manager?
Yeah, of course it does. It's becoming harder because the level of the game is improving in physicality, but also in team tactics, and the techniques players are becoming better. So you have to adapt, especially, of course, when you're in possession, you want to be unpredictable, and of course you want to harm your opponent and score goals, but also out of possession. Other teams are improving too, and they want to do unpredictable things and they want to challenge us. And in the game they can change their dynamics and their shape and how they want to attack. So we have to be ready for that.
Is there one thing that your previous Euro-winning teams have had that this group also has?
The quality, I think there's still a lot of quality. And I also think we want to work hard. I believe, and that will be, we're building the bonding of the team. So we have to be best prepared. And then when that gives clarity, then everyone can also, it's understanding of the role. And you know, roles can change very quickly in the tournament. Then bringing everything together and be the best bonded team, that will make a difference.
To win 3 in a row would make history. Have you allowed yourself to dream that big yet, Sarina?
Well, of course I dream big. And of course, sometimes you look back and we work with so many ambitious people and quality people. And as I said before, to get it to a final is really, really special. So the more often you do, the harder it probably becomes. The chance might be this big, the chance might be this big, the chance might be this big. But no matter how big the chance is, we're going for that. And of course I dream about that. We're working for that every single day. And you don't know the outcome yet, but that's the beauty of sport. You never know what happens.
What's one quality that this team needs in order to win the Euros?
If everything comes together, we're the most bonded team, I think we can come really far.
Okay, one quality?
3 qualities? Scoring a goal. Scoring goals.
Togetherness.
That's a pretty important quality, isn't it? That we can score.
Any
a goal.
other qualities within the group? Togetherness. You said quality.
Yeah, no. I think we're a team that is really together and that we can bring that to life again in this summer.
Aggie, what a season it's been after winning the treble with Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I think obviously we finish the season and then you come straight into camp, so you don't really ever take a moment to kind of think back and look what we've done. But yeah, it's an incredible achievement. I think for myself, I look back now and I think as a 10, 11-year-old kid playing at Chelsea Academy, and to say that I've helped contribute to win a treble for me is a season that I'll definitely remember, and something that I'm extremely proud of for myself and as the team collectively.
Chelsea became the first WSL side to finish a 22-game season unbeaten, which is incredible. Where does that rank amongst what you've achieved this year?
Yeah, I think it's so impressive, if I'm honest. I think obviously unrivalled domestically as well is an incredible achievement, and I think for us, if I remember correctly, I think Sonia put it on the board when we played Liverpool last day of the season. She said, "It's your chance to make history today, girls." And I know for me, I was there kind of just like itching to go for it, because I just think, for me, I love playing against Liverpool. I think being on loan at Everton as well. So to me, I know the rivalry there. But yeah, it's an incredible stat, something we're extremely proud of. And I think Lucy actually said it in an interview once that the unbeaten was an incredible stat, but if it didn't account to winning anything at the end, then although it'd be a great stat, it doesn't come with the tangible success. And I think for us to be able to lift the trophy at Stamford Bridge that day is something that I'll look back on and be immensely proud of. It's always been Chelsea for me. I've been in the academy since I was 8, 9 maybe, and I've come through the pathway, and I had my, people say, breakout season last year under Emma, and obviously when Sonia came in I was obviously a bit apprehensive to thinking this has changed. I've never known Chelsea without Emma, and I think scoring at that final day was for me just an absolute dream come true. I think obviously we left it late. I think I did it in the FA Cup as well. I left it a bit late against Liverpool, but for me, I just remember Ash did brilliantly actually to win the ball back and play me in, and I just remember thinking, right, this is your moment, take your time, just put it in. And Niamh gives me stick all the time saying I need to finish near post, so I actually did that. And I think for me, I just remember running towards the fan, because I know being myself, I've been a fan at Stamford Bridge, and I gave some guy a hug, bless him. And I think I actually found out he's actually one of my mates. His daughter actually plays football, and I've actually met him before, so little things like that I think is really cute.
Was this season even more special because of what you speak about, that deep connection you have with Chelsea, having come through the academy, you know, now to the first team?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, I never take for granted playing for the badge, and it's something that I hope the fans and I think the girls at Chelsea know how much the club means to me. It's something that I'm extremely proud of, that I grew up around Cobham and have been there ever since, and I had the loan spells which helped me out massively. And for Emma, I will always be so grateful for what she did for me. She kind of gave me that first stepping stone in my career in that sense.
Emma Hayes said seeing your development with Chelsea was better than winning a trophy. What was it like hearing those kind of comments, especially from a world-class manager?
Yeah, I think she said that in an interview after we played Liverpool, where we actually lost. I remember the 4-3 game, which was I think obviously that day we thought we'd effectively lost the WSL trophy, and I remember her
putting an arm around me, and she just said to me, I think she obviously said some really nice words, and I think I was so annoyed about the loss that I didn't ever really process what she said. And yeah, I mean, I think for someone like her to say those kind words is something that will stick with me forever. And obviously someone like Emma, who's had a career in football, for her to say that is, yeah, something that does mean a lot to me, and hopefully I just make her proud. And whenever I see her, I'm always grateful and make sure I say thank you for everything she's did for me, and hopefully I can just keep going on in my career.
What were the targets for Chelsea this season? Because surely you've surpassed all of expectation.
I mean, to some extent, yeah. I remember Sonia actually came in, and she literally, the first minute she walked through the door, it was about winning. And I think that's where we all kind of like nodded in unison that she's the right person for this job. And I think absolute credit to her. Obviously we won 3 out of 4 trophies, 1 trophy that we didn't get, which I know for us is frustrating, but I mean, absolute credit to Arsenal. I think they executed the game plan unbelievably, and for the women's game and English football, I couldn't be happier. I think it's an incredible statement. 3 out of 4 is not bad, but for us, we're always looking for room for improvement, and hopefully can push on next year.
What was your reaction when you heard Mary Earps was retiring from international football?
Yeah, I think at first, obviously, I was shocked. I think, firstly, Mary is an incredible person, and I think it's never an easy decision, and I know for her, she's taken a lot of time to think about this, and I know for myself, being a fan watching the Euros at 2022, she had an incredible tournament, and I spoke to her yesterday actually after, and we sat down for half an hour and we just had a really genuine, like, wholesome chat, and I think I can understand why she's done it, and I hope she knows that we are all so grateful for what she's done for football, just in general. I think the women's game, for goalkeepers, on and off the pitch, she's completely and utterly been herself, and that's something I really, really admire about her. And I hope she has so much peace and that she's done the right decision. And yeah, I feel extremely lucky that although my time was short with her, I feel really lucky to have shared the pitch with her.
How big a miss will she be around the England dressing room?
Yeah, huge. I think, I've said it already, but I think Mary as a person is someone who everyone gets along with. I think she brings such a refreshing aura to the team. She's bubbly, but she's to herself. She has a really good dynamic, and the legacy she's left behind, I know she said it to me yesterday that she wanted to leave the shirt in a better place, which you could ask anyone, and I think everyone would tell you Mary's done that for sure. And I'm delighted that I got to share the pitch with her, and I know she'll be the biggest supporter for us this year, hopefully, and I know we'll hopefully do her very, very proud.
What will her legacy be for the Lionesses?
I think what she's left behind is something that so many young girls can look up to. I think Mary is such a great person on and off the pitch, and her personal accolades are incredible. Golden Glove, best keeper at the World Cup, winning FIFA best 11s, and I think that speaks for itself. And I think off the pitch, I know she's always said be unapologetically yourself, and her legacy is something that she can be extremely proud of. I think even today with the news coming out, the amount of people who were there congratulating her for her career, I feel so lucky to have been able to meet her in my career, and I know that whatever she's going to do next, she's going to enjoy it and hopefully just take some good time for herself, really.
On to England, where you've had a great 12 months. Take us back to your debut against the Republic of Ireland in July.
Yeah, so I think it was just before my birthday. And I just said, actually, I had been in a few camps before where I'd come into a few trainings but never really got the call up, and I was kind of on the cusp, just kind of trying to get the call in. And then obviously I got the call up and we had the game against Republic of Ireland, and yeah, I got the nod on around, I think, 80 minutes or so, and I just remember thinking, oh, just go on there and enjoy this moment you've been waiting for your whole career. And yeah, it was obviously an emotional day. I think my mum made the trip to Norwich, and my mum's obviously such a key part in my career, and I remember I came home from camp and she'd got a little postcard with the Norwich ground on it and just wrote a really cute message. And yeah, it was a day I'll always remember, and yeah, something that I'll smile back on. And I think for me as well, I did it, Jess Naz made her debut that day as well, and me and her have grown up together. She's a lovely girl, and I think for me to kind of share that moment with her was really, really sentimental, and I look back and I'll always know her for that day as well, so I think it's nice that we share that together. What
goes through your mind every time you pull on the England shirt?
For me, I put that shirt on and I think of all the people who've been there before, who've paved the way and allowed me to be in the position I'm in today. And I think it's just unity as well. You get to feel, you look at each other and you get to know that you're all doing the same thing, and you get that like almost unsaid, I don't know what the word is, but that unsaid feeling between each other that we're all going to go out there and play for the badge, and everyone's got their own people they want to make proud. And for me, it's just such a great feeling and something that I'll never, ever take lightly. I'll always cherish it.
Would you say you're an England regular now?
No, I think I had this conversation with someone, but I don't think I'll ever feel like I've made it. I'm always striving to continuously improve, and I think I'm still so young in my career and I've got so much to learn still, and I'm so aware of that. And I know for myself I'm just focusing on the next 2 games and hopefully impressing Sarina, and who knows what will happen this summer. But yeah, I'm so aware that I've got a long way to go in my career still. I'm so young and I've got a lot to learn, and hopefully I just make myself proud and can walk away with my head held high and yeah, give it my all.
The Euros is fast approaching, as you know. Confident you'll be on the plane to Switzerland?
I think for me, I'm never too confident. I like to just ride the wave of football, and hopefully I'll get there. Obviously that's the aim. I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't. Obviously Sarina makes the call and I have to respect whatever she says, but it would be the dream, and hopefully I'll get there, but just need to focus on what I could control and staying injury free and keeping on top of my body, listening to my body. And we've had a really long season with Chelsea, and yeah, need to firstly finish this camp and hopefully get a bit of game time and impress in training, and we'll see. But yeah, not confident at all. I just got to keep it cool and keep everything around me cool.
You've already won 3 trophies with Chelsea this season. Could you win a 4th with England?
I mean, it's the dream. I think even now when I was just coming up the stairs, obviously the Euro trophy sitting down at the bottom there, and I remember being there that day as a fan watching on thinking they're going to do it, and when Chloe scored that winner, like the whole stadium erupted, and to hopefully know that we could do that again this year would be absolutely incredible. And obviously the girls who were there who did it in 2022 are still here, and they know the feeling and they know what we need to do. And I think, if I'm honest, other nations have got better, and they're going to be up to beating us because we're the holders. But that's what happens when you're one of the best. It's what other teams want to do.
You've played under some elite managers. How does Sarina compare to Emma Hayes and Sonia Bonpastor?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, I think firstly all 3 of them have been incredible managers, to say the least, and I think Emma's legacy at Chelsea is something that she can be immensely proud of. I think Sonia to come in her first season at the WSL to win 3 trophies is an incredible start. I don't know who else has done it really in the women's game. And I think Sarina to win back-to-back Euro champions at different nations shows her quality. And for me, I just look at all 3 of them and think I just want to learn. I want them to teach me as much as I can and keep my ears open, be a sponge, absorb it all. And for me, I think they're also unique in their own ways, and I don't know if I could compare them because I think they're also unique. The baseline is that they all have such an unbelievable understanding of the game, and for me, I just hope that each of them know that I respect all their expertise and hopefully can learn off them the most.
How does Sarina get the best out of young players in the squad?
It shows with the amount of people she's brought in. I know for me, obviously I look at the team and I look at Chiara, I look at Grace, I look at myself, look at Michelle, who's obviously a 19-year-old who came on in her debut, scores a worldie, and I think it shows that she trusts these young players to come in and make an impact. Yeah, I think the pathway mainly. I think it shows how good the girls are getting as we come up through the age groups, and I know I really trust Sarina, and I hope she knows that whatever she needs of me, I can give it my best shot and hopefully make her happy. Yeah, I think it comes down to her being a great coach and the trainings that we do. It's never as easy you just turn up to the tournament football and expect to win. We work for it every single day, and I think she's so good at setting those standards, and the girls, we have to live up to it and call out each other when it's not up to there, and she does that equally, and I think that shows why she's such a world-class manager.
How has Sarina been with you since your first call-up to now?
I think my first call up, obviously, she was like, "Are you nervous?" and just kind of give me the small chat of like, just relax and all that. And I think now we obviously come in and we've had a few chats about positions, and she's honest with me, and it's good, and it's building that relationship. And I feel like I've been in the setup now for, I want to say, nearly a year. And it is building that relationship, and hopefully, I don't know how long I'll be in the setup, but I'm excited to see where our relationship will go. And I know she's got my best interests at heart, and hopefully she knows that I'll give it my all, and I'm just excited to see what the next few years hold, if I'm honest.